Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So I had some technical difficulties this morning because I did a interview yesterday and it kind of screwed up all my settings. So I apologize. I apologize for being late. But welcome. Today I'm going to prove to you guys and show you the truth, the absolute truth behind the Bitcoin plunge, what triggered it, why it happened, and why it's still ongoing, and how should we prepare for it. So, thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So, let's do this again. I apologize. My setup is kind of like all screwy now, but I did go on Rand's show this morning, Crypto Banter. Had a good time. Even on the show, I gotta admit, a lot of fear, even from the guys. I know they're trying to kind of hide it, but you could tell everyone's fearful, everyone's doubtful. And I'm seeing in the chat today, I'm seeing in the comments, I'm seeing on Twitter, right? There's just so much fear going on right now, and that is why I wanted to do this stream and tell you guys exactly what's going on and why you should not be fearful. Because why? Because you're being played right now. You're being played, right? So let's do this. Let me change my screen here. All right, so Bitcoin went down a little bit lower, 36.2. I know a lot of you guys were expecting the max pain price to be correct. I wanted to be correct with options expirations. It was going to be at 50,000 today. Yesterday, Bitcoin did try to get to it, over $40,000. In fact, a couple of times, but there's just too much fear. It didn't happen. Like I always say, 60% of the time, I'm right all the time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Nothing is a sure thing. So I would have loved to see it, but obviously it didn't happen. But with that said, does that mean that you should be falling for the FUD right now? Because there's so much out there. Literally every single person you talk to is fearing that we may go back down to 30,000, or maybe go even lower to 28 or 23 or 20, or maybe this is the end of Bitcoin's bull run and that everyone should panic sell, right? Should you fall for that? The answer is no. No. There's just too much fear going on, but I've been, hopefully I've been showing you guys and proving to you guys that this has happened before. We have seen many periods of time in bull runs, yes, during bull runs, where this has happened, where you have a tremendous pump, then you take a breather, and then the pump continues, especially towards the end of the year. So this actually is following the same footsteps as before, 2017 and 2013. Now, I know the argument is, well, 2021 is not like 2017, right? And that is right. The dollar amount is a lot higher, and we have institutions coming in. However, history tends to rhyme, and I think that institutions have a big role in what's going on. Keep in mind, when we say institutions, it's not like just like everyone's working together. There's some that enter early, and there's some that's entering late. And the guys that are entering late are the ones that are trying to play catch up. Okay? No, not the food ketchup, not the ketchup that you put on your fries, but catching up in terms of the missed gains. Their clients, their own portfolio, everything that they have been lagging compared to people that or institutions or portfolios that had bought Bitcoin and crypto early on, right? So these guys are the ones that are entering the game. They want to make up for their lack of gains or their time. So they're doing what they can, and I believe that's what's going on. So let me show you guys exactly what's going on. All right. And I got a clip. And this came out yesterday, but I didn't really pay close attention to this. And this is coming from Tesla's biggest fan, and I'm talking about Cathie Wood. Cathie Wood went on Consensus yesterday and talked about, and I brought this up last night, although not too many people paid attention. So I brought this up with my chat with Jason yesterday. And by the way, there's like so much hate over that. I did not get it. There's just two guys chatting crypto. So much hate on that interview for some reason. A lot more than I expected. So I don't know what's going on. But, you know, every so often I'm going to do more crypto chats. Just livelier and casual chats. And, you know, hopefully bring a new spin to this show. But anyways, I brought this up yesterday. And Cathie basically blamed that this dump, this plunge, this dip was started by this ESG movement from none other than his favorite person in the world, or her favorite person in the world, Elon. But, you know, I missed the second part of what she said, and this is connecting the dots. This is the reason why Bitcoin plunged, and this has to do what I've been saying about playing catch up. So let me play this for you guys, and then let's discuss afterwards. Very short, I promise. So let me set this up. All right, let's do this. What? Did they just take down the video? No? All right, restart. Here we go. You guys can't hear that? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, technical difficulties.
Was that Elon probably got a few calls from institutions. I noticed that BlackRock is their number 3 shareholder, and Larry Fink is the CEO, is focused on ESG and especially on climate change. So I'm sure BlackRock registered some complaints, and perhaps there are some European very large holders, and Europe's extremely sensitive to this, more so than the US in many ways. And so he probably wanted to reassess the situation, saying, wait a minute, what have I gotten into here? Do I not understand the environmental impact? And so now.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it right there. I think Cathie laid it all out there, okay? I think she tried to hide the fact. She probably midway through, she's thinking, okay, oh shoot, I can't really say what I'm about to say. So then she spun it that, yeah, BlackRock has environmental concerns. Yeah, you think BlackRock, the largest asset manager on earth, really cares about environmental issues? No, she laid out exactly what happened. BlackRock has been trying to go into crypto for a very, 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 very long time. In fact, I have a new tweet to show you guys. So what's probably happening is they're trying to accumulate, and they're trying to accumulate more. So what she described probably happened. Larry Fink or Rick Ryder, someone called over to Elon and said, hey, you know what? We need to accumulate more. So why don't we just take the most negative thing out there, or the only thing left to say about Bitcoin, and that is environmental concerns, and let's push that narrative a little bit. Not only will it make you look good if you try to solve it, but we know that that's going to tank things so that we can buy in at a cheaper rate. So I think that's exactly what happened. And Cathie also knows that, but she can't say that because she's going to get sued by BlackRock. But she even laid it out that, hey, Elon probably just got a phone call in the middle of the day from BlackRock, who happens to be the 3rd largest investor of Tesla. That's an important thing. And was told probably to do this. And here's my point. Look at this. Larry Fink, BlackRock just recently said, we're studying on crypto, which someday may play a role akin to gold. But look at what has happened over the years. Okay, let's say last year, Rick Ryder all of a sudden came out and said, we're very, very bullish on Bitcoin. right? It could replace gold to a large extent. Then later on, he backtracked and said, no, Bitcoin's going to go back down to 20,000. And then he backtracked and said, well, it's going to go up to 400,000. Well, here's the thing. Look, back in January this year, BlackRock filings hint that they're getting into Bitcoin futures as well. And look at this. This was just, around the same time. BlackRock is about to dabble in Bitcoin. And recently they came out and said that they have purchased some Bitcoin, right? So this is like so easy to spot. You just do one plus one, basically. You look at what has happened over the last year or so with some of these institutions, and I'm right now specifically referring to BlackRock, because they've been saying that they wanted to get in for some time, right? And when they get in, they're not just putting a few millions, they're putting in billions upon billions. And if they really think that Bitcoin can be akin or replace gold someday, they need to get in as much as they can right now. And when Bitcoin was hovering in 50s and 60s, that was not a bargain to them, especially when they were eyeing Bitcoin in the thousands at 10,000. I believe Rick Ryder, when he first did an interview about BlackRock getting in or trying to get in, Bitcoin was at 10,000. Of course, they have, hoops and stuff that they have to go through. I remember that interview he talked about. He was trying to get CFC or SEC approval and stuff like that. And during that time, while he's trying to wait for that, Bitcoin continues to go up and up and up. So now I think there's a bigger push to get into Bitcoin, right? Because it was going too far, too fast for them. They need to pick up a lot more of it. So what they want to do is drive things lower. And I think utilizing Elon for this is a perfect way to do so. This whole thing just came out of nowhere. No, I understand. Some people will say, well, the market was overheated. It needs to come down. I get that. But what I don't get is why Elon did that 180, right? That's what, it didn't make any sense. Right? So I get the fact that the market was overheated. It needs to take a breather, consolidation. I just talked about 2017, same thing. But why? Out of the blue, Elon would just do a 180, bring up this environmental concerns where he already knew about it. He knows how Bitcoin mining works, right? So it didn't make any sense, and now it does. Cathie laid it out for us perfectly, that one of the biggest Tesla investors basically made a phone call to him and said, hey, you need to talk about this narrative, because what they're really trying to do is keep things low so that they can buy in and accumulate more. And it's not just BlackRock, unfortunately. I've been talking about the banks too. How Goldman Sachs, oh, by the way, in case you're wondering, BlackRock has been caught for market manipulation many times in the past too. So it's not like this is out of their wheelhouse. And also big banks like Goldman Sachs all of a sudden says good things about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now an investable asset. It's a new asset class, right? Guess what? Goldman Sachs was also fined heavily for market manipulation before, right? Same thing JP Morgan. They said, hey, we're going to let people get into Bitcoin, our new Bitcoin fund, right? Of course, JP Morgan was slapped for market manipulation before, right? So all these guys, their model is basically they cause a lot of FUD. They try to accumulate as much as they can while that FUD is going on, while things are low, and then they profit when things come back up. So that is exactly what's happening right now. All this fear, this FUD, all these things that are coming out of left field, right? About environmental concerns, about China mining, about taxes, the new administration, what they're doing, right? Whether or not the institutions are going to continue buying, whether or not they're going to dump, whether all this stuff coming out all around the same period. Is that a coincidence? No, because it's working right now. It's working, and it's causing a lot of fear. So the name of the game is you don't want to fall for it. If you're in Bitcoin and crypto, and you're in it to make life-changing wealth, you're in it to actually invest, not to make a quick buck, not to become a millionaire overnight, you got to know that This kind of stuff happens. It happens time and time and time and time again. We had a very, very, very good 4 months starting from January all the way out leading up to May, right? So some of you guys got used to that Bitcoin and crypto can only go up and never come down. But this is perfectly natural. It has happened before and will continue to happen. But those that stay the course, that ignore the FUD, continue to dollar cost average and continue to buy and hodl, they are the ones that will be rewarded. They have been rewarded. The ones that's been holding from 2017, they have been rewarded handsomely already. And even people that are coming in today, they will be rewarded if they continue the course and invest and not try to make a quick buck. And let me show you something. Despite the fact that, yes, today looks like a not so good day. Not so good day. Overall market cap is down about 8%. You look across the board, things are looking pretty darn red, right? Like everything looks like it's about to collapse. But I brought this up. I was going to bring this up during Rand's show. But if you go back, if you look at, 24 hours, everything is red. But what about the past week? Well, then you notice that some things aren't in red. And that's just going back 1 week. How about you go back 1 month? Okay? And then you go back 3 months. And then you'll realize that even though, yes, we're down from highs. We're down from highs that we formed only 2-3 weeks ago. But you look at how much we've gained over the last 3 months, then you'll realize that this is nothing to be panicking about. Whatever we're seeing is actually just a normal correction. It is not doomsday. This is not the end of the bull run. This is not the start of a 3-year bear cycle. It's not that at all. You'll realize that, hey, if you look at it just from the start of this year, had you held Ethereum, you're still up a staggering 70%. You're holding Doge, you're up 500%. Even BNB is up 50%. And you go down the list and you realize, well, if you held Matic, you're up 800%. Then you realize that things aren't as bad as they seem. And it will get better. And these will get back to all-time highs. So my point is, don't let these big institutions that are trying to play catch-up fear you out of the market. Because right now, they're kind of winning. I admit that. Retail investors, I've talked about the confidence being shattered. The last few days seems to have come back a little bit, which is why altcoins started to regain their dominance. But today, I'm sensing, and maybe going to this week, there may be more fear. And look at this. Look at this. I just got done talking about BlackRock, right? So out of the blue, Scott Miner, the CTO of BlackRock, just tweet this out. Crypto investors be warned. Be prepared for a volatile holiday weekend. Like, why did he just tweet this? Why did he just tweet this? You think he tweeted this because he really cares about you? He really cares about crypto investors? And he really cares about a volatile crypto weekend? Out of the blue. Out of all the things that he has to worry about with the market, the stock market, the bonds, everything that they're involved with, all the assets they hold, all of a sudden he talks about this. And don't you think this is driving more FUD into the market? He's basically telling everyone, hey, things will probably crash this weekend, so you should probably sell. I mean, think about it. Why would he tweet this? Does he really care? Does he really care about crypto investors? I don't think so. I don't think he really cares at all. He cares about whether or not BlackRock is going to make money from crypto. He cares about if BlackRock can accumulate more while there's dips. That's what he cares about, right? So, yeah. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense, right? All right, and then some other things I want to talk about. This is like bigger picture stuff. And I'm talking about inflation, right? One of the narratives for why Bitcoin is a store of value, why institutions want to pick it up, is because of inflation, fears of inflation. So last month, CPI, this is at least in the US, Consumer Price Index rose up 4.2%. And this is the highest and fastest It's grown since 2008. And guess what happened in 2008? We had the housing bubble, right? The toxic mortgage stuff that was going on, right? We had a pretty bad fall in 2008. Guess what? Today, this morning, there's another gauge called PCE, personal consumption expenditures, also went up, and it's high just like 2008, right? So there's a lot of fear. And Biden and administration, they plan on spending more. Just yesterday, I think his new plan is like $8 trillion or $6 trillion per year for government spending, and that is going to increase to 8 something trillion. So people are paying attention to this, and you know what? They're trying to prepare for it. They're trying to prepare for the fact that the dollar is getting more and more and more worthless. So that is why these banks and institutions like BlackRock and Goldman and JP and everyone else that's late to the game, they're trying to prepare for this. So they want to accumulate Bitcoin. They want to accumulate as much as they can before the devastation from inflation actually hits. This is the reason why they're in it. They're not so much in it because they want to become trillionaires like some of us, right? If we get into Bitcoin, we get in crypto, we want to become millionaires. We want to go to the moon with it. These guys are trying to preserve their wealth. They already have the billions and trillions. So they're looking at something that's better than gold, okay? And that's Bitcoin. So they're worried about what's to come, not only in the US, but around the world. If 30% of the money supply came out within a year, and more, another 20% or so, or 30% will come out this year, the money supply has just grown so much, so fast, and every single metric is now saying that we will have inflation, not only inflation, but hyperinflation. There's just a lot of worry. So right now is accumulation phase. Accumulate as much as you can of these hard assets as a store of value, as a hedge against inflation, and that's the right way to do it. All right, that's pretty much it. I said a lot. So let's do some Q&A. Someone was saying, "Hey George, do you have any evidence of this?" Listen to all the guys that have been talking about inflation. I'm talking about some of the biggest guys out there. Ray Dalio, one of the most respected guys, he's talking about it. He talks about buying Bitcoin. He just admitted that he bought Bitcoin for the same reasons. Cathie Wood, one of the most respected women on Wall Street, talks about buying Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. Even someone that's more low-key, like Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad Poor Dad, he's been saying not only buy Bitcoin, silver, and gold to hedge against inflation. What's that guy? Raoul Paul. He was just on Rand's show. He says the same thing. He's an ex-Goldman guy. He's also saying to buy Bitcoin against inflation, right? So it's not just me saying this. The institutions, they want to come in to protect themselves against inflation. They know the dollar is devaluing and it's not going to lead to good things, right? And these guys, I'm talking about Goldman, JP, BlackRock, they have been fined multiple times for manipulating things that they're trying to get into. I just showed you the articles. And they're all talking about getting into Bitcoin. So you just have to add it up. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to add this up. If they're all trying to get into Bitcoin, then of course they want to get Bitcoin when it's cheap. They don't want to get it when it's at $100,000. They want to get it, if they can, at $30,000, right? Or $35,000. That's what we're seeing. So just pay attention. You just have to pay attention to what these guys are saying. Let me scroll up. All right, let's start from the top here. The Move Point says, George, we should play a drinking game during the show this weekend. When you turn to Q&A, everyone's asks you about a bad coin we drink up. Yeah, maybe we count how many people bring up a certain word or something. Maybe. John Alley says, based on what is going, when to buy, now or next week, continue. No one knows. No one knows if today's the bottom, tomorrow's the bottom, next week is the bottom, no matter what anyone says, right? It's all educated guesses. Not saying that people are just pulling it out of their butts, but no one really knows, especially when there is a lot of fear and these big guys are trying to get into the game, right? But I've always said the strategy stays the same. You dollar cost average. When things are down 40, 50, 60, 70%, it's a bargain compared to where they were just a few weeks ago, right? And the narrative for this bull market that we're still in hasn't changed. The fundamentals have not changed. I just got done talking about inflation. That's still a real concern, right? And all the momentum and enthusiasm and adoption, especially with DeFi among these crypto companies or projects, has not gone away. There's still a lot of excitement over them. They're still developing. There's still things coming, right? So that hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is the fear level. The fear level in the market has changed. And that's unfortunate because there's so many guys that are spreading the fear, not only these media, but also within the community, because it's like a cascading effect. One person tells this person that tells this person, like, hey, I heard this is going to go down. I heard this is going to go down. I heard Bitcoin's going to go down 20, right? So then it prevents everyone from buying back in. So everyone's sitting on silent and fearful. And then, unfortunately, they're going to miss out on a lot of the gains, the recovery, right? Do you see us hitting 25K before we sell things up or down? I don't see that. See, again, asking a question like that is man, I know you don't mean it, but the fact that you're asking that question means that you heard it from someone, which means that person has spread the FUD to you, and now you're just trying to spread it to everyone else that's reading that question. How will inflation affect BTC though? Won't retail get wrecked at that point? No. You got to realize, why are all these assets going up in value? Is it because that they actually got in value, they appreciated? Maybe. Or is it because the dollar got more worthless? So you got to look at it that way. So retail won't. I mean, it's more than just Bitcoin, right? But I think Bitcoin is the best asset to hold. But people have been buying real estate. Real estate has been going up a ton, right? People have been buying basketball cards, which has gone up a ton too, right? It doesn't really matter. People are looking at collectibles and basically hard assets as a way to hedge against inflation. But I think out of all of them, Bitcoin is the best. Well, crypto. Bitcoin/crypto is the best. Good to go. First launch pad on Polygon. Okay. Thanks for bringing that up. Do you think Amazon is the 15th validator for Theta? Well, Theta has all these enterprise validators. And they have some big players, including Google in there, right? So it would not surprise me if Amazon becomes a validator. I mean, Amazon may be paying attention to Theta because of their distributed network for video, right? Because Amazon is also in that space. So it would not surprise me if Amazon got in there. You think XRP will do good after a lawsuit? I think after they win the lawsuit, it will. It will go up quite a bit. Doesn't matter. I was late. Do you have concern about all the hacks on BSC recently? Yeah, it's concerning. It is concerning. Burger Swap just got hacked recently due to like a missing line of code. But CZ did say that he's not going to do any rollbacks on Binance Smart Chain. So that alleviates a lot of concerns that, the network is centralized, so they're going to do a lot of rollbacks. That's not the case. But, this is what I've been saying a lot about these AMMs and these hyped up projects. A lot of them, have done very well, right? But they're still relatively new. So you don't know what may happen. There's always a risk there, especially with any of these AMMs with pools that's offering hundreds to thousands of APY, right? There's still a danger to them. They've grown very fast, yes, but you still have to be careful. I've always maintained that. Milgoss says, I think big institutions are buying BTC at this very moment. They're doing it quietly so they don't trigger FOMO. Yes. This is what I just got done saying. It's without a doubt that they are getting in right now. They are getting in. They're doing what they can to buy things low. They've been caught many times throughout history, throughout the last century, about manipulating things that they're trying to get into. You could look it up. There's so many examples, right? And I think the latest example, I think Cathie called it out. She's tried to spin it to a nice thing. Like, hey, you know what? The third largest investor of Tesla, BlackRock, probably gave Elon a call and said, hey, we're concerned about environmental effects of Bitcoin. You think BlackRock really concerned about environmental concerns? You think Scott Miner really cares that crypto investors, he really cares about crypto investors and how they should prepare for a volatile holiday weekend? You think that's really on their mind? No. What's on their mind is to accumulate more Bitcoin and accumulate cheap Bitcoin. So that's the thing. That's what we need to focus on is what are the true intentions of these guys? Do they really care about these things, or are they really just trying to misdirect while they accumulate, right? I think it's the latter. I think they're misdirecting. Jonathan Iza? I don't know what that is. Do you think U.S. inflation is going to inflect Europe and the euro? I think the euro and Europe and their own currencies are going to have their own problems. All the countries around the world have inflation fears because they all printed a whole bunch in 2020 and more in 2021, right? Now, the U.S., I think, has a benefit because the USD is the world currency. It's the reserve currency, and a lot of other currencies that inflate more than a USD, they flock to USD. So there's still a lot of buying of USD from other countries. So I think that does help it. But what if one day it gets stopped? What if one day no one buys the USD anymore? Then you go really feel it, right? But right now, I think it's a concern for the entire world. Is hypophobic. Was thinking maybe now's a good time for people to get in BTC altcoins if they missed a recent dip. Yes. I mean, right now, where is Bitcoin at? Right around 36,000. Obviously not as low as the 30,000 right here or 31,000, but it's lower than the 41 and 40 that we just experienced just a day or two ago, right? So, like I said, no one knows truly where bottom is or top, right? The name of the game is buy low and sell high, not to sell low and buy high, which unfortunately is what a lot of people do, right? Right now, I think it's the best time to be accumulating. This is one of those times where Bitcoin is just stagnant, it's sideways. Same thing as in 2017. 2017, a lot of people didn't experience it, but for those of us that did, if you zoom in, you'll realize that the same kind of thing happened multiple times. 46% drop over here, where 2 months span. Right around now, around May time, all the way up leading to July, basically flat, and you could see it actually dipped a little bit, right? After it came back up, and you know what? Even in August over here, all the way to October, another 2 months, basically flat. This was during the bull market in 2017. But then afterwards, it went nothing but up, right? So right now, if we're going to try to correlate to 2017, we're somewhere in here. We're probably somewhere in here that we only had 2 or 3 weeks now where Bitcoin didn't form a new high. We've started coming down, right? And people are thinking that something like this somehow puts us in a bear market and the bull run is over. Well, just look at history. Just look at 2017. The same thing happened multiple times. Look at these times. Started at 2017. Yeah, it had made a new high, and then it went down, and it took a while, 2 months before it recovered. Same thing here from March all the way up to April. Basically flat, even though you had down, but, it took months, right? So that's why I don't think we're experiencing anything that we haven't seen before. Obviously, if you came in at peak, it hurts. And you're go think that, yeah, somehow this is the end, but it's not. It's not. Can we see some jump of BTC if one of them buys? No, I think they have been buying. But you could buy on the OTC market where it doesn't really drive prices up. I think that's been happening, but obviously they don't have just like $100 billion to throw in, right? If they go buy, they go try to accumulate as much as they can over time. So it'll be little by little by little buys. And we have seen that. We have seen that, like Coinbase deals a lot with institutions. So many times you look at Coinbase's reserves and all of a sudden you'll see like a billion or 5 billion Bitcoin just leave. Like all of a sudden. And you know that that's going into some custodian wallet for a big institution, right? It happens periodically and you see it happening all the time. Just a sudden spike of outflow of Bitcoin. It's probably to these big guys. Super Google says ESG and climate change are worse than Super Shiba. Just a hoax to try to get to fund people. I mean, because the narrative for Bitcoin, there's really nothing bad people could say anymore. It can't form a new high. No, it did, right? Institutions will never get in. They're getting in, right? So what else can you say? It's better store value than gold. It has proven that. It has proven that over the last few years, right? So the only thing people can say right now is, well, environmental concerns. You know, Bitcoin mining takes more power than some countries. Yet it's still half of gold. Gold mining energy use is a double of Bitcoin. No one talks about how much it costs to mine gold. No one talks about the destruction that gold mining brings or the people that are forced to mine. No one talks about that because people don't want to talk about that. People want to talk about how Bitcoin energy usage is so sky high that it has to be shut down, right? Because that's the really only thing you can say. Chad, I appreciate that. I appreciate that you didn't get flooded out. A lot of people coming in, they probably would have, but trust me, stay the course. That's what I've done. Opportunities, when there's big buying opportunities, I bought the dips. I even told you guys, bought little increments. Whenever you want to get in, you put in increments. You never just go all in, right? That's the way to do it. Someone says, Hogel Finance Launchpad. Okay. Zai says, George, today's options expirations. So everyone come down. We go through this every month. Just yesterday, we were calling for 50K. Yes. There was too many that are part of manipulation. You know, I don't think it's just YouTubers. Like, honestly, this really caught me off guard. Like, why would Scott Miner, CTO of BlackRock, of all the things he has to worry about, why would he put out this? This is the ultimate FUD. People that are following him, other institutions that's following him, is basically going to sell based on this opinion, right? Like, why would he be doing that? So it's not just YouTubers spreading FUD. It's the big boys too. Like, seriously, out of all the things that he has to worry about, he has time to make a tweet about, hey, crypto investors, watch out. It might be a volatile weekend. I mean, where did that come from? Where does that come from? 260 million BTC and ETH leverage liquidated today. Yes, leverage. I've talked about leverage many times. People will continue to use them. Although I did notice that the long liquidations have been going down, so that's good. But yeah, there's just people that continue to get wrecked left and right with these liquidations. And you can see that today's is very tame to this one, but still 168 million longs liquidated, right? So you got to be careful. You got to be careful with that. All right, guys. I'll let you guys go. All right. So, bottom line is stay strong, guys. I know I was wrong about max pain for options expirations. I thought it would happen, but the FUD is a little bit too strong right now. There's just a lot of people that are just really fearing the FUD. So stay strong. Know that this has happened before, even during bull runs. Yes, it has happened before, but right now, just pay attention to what's going on. The fundamentals of why Bitcoin is going up, why institutions want to get in, that hasn't changed. Fundamentals why altcoins are great pickups hasn't changed. right? But I think Cathie, her interview really laid it out. She didn't have to say what she did, but she did. She even said the third largest Tesla investor came out and gave Elon a call, right? Like the way she said it, I mean, it makes perfect sense. BlackRock has been talking about getting into Bitcoin for such a long time, talking about it, right? And you know what? It makes sense that they're doing what they're doing because you know what? They've been known for market manipulation. Same thing with Goldman. They're known for market manipulation. Same thing with JP Morgan. They're known for market manipulation, right? So these guys, they want to get in. You don't want to fall for their FUD. You want to stay strong, stay the course, focus on long term, and that's the name of the game. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, have a good one, guys.